Hi everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you're at, whichever time it is. Here it is the afternoon and the 18th of December 2022. A week till Christmas. We're midway in our Christmas giving and receiving project, in which I pray for people in exchange of donations, and we feed people and plant trees and plant plants and all sorts of amazing things for Christmas. Now, the intention of this video is, I had a dream yesterday actually that I was instructed to do this video for the people who I pray for, but also because we are in the timeline in the creation of the school and the ministry where we're getting people in the lobby before opening the inside doors so that it starts, okay? And so the intention of this video is to create a foundation of understanding of the way I work, and upon which foundation I do this work, so that everybody can sustain the work and prayer that I'm doing, and so that everybody can get on and beyond my level of working with God. And this video might trigger some of you. It is normal. This video has the potential to bring you in connection directly with God and pull you out of all the different systems that you are connected in, okay? The different energy systems that you're connected in. So all the beings that operate through those systems that operate in you might react to some of those things that I say, because the way that they influence you is through your belief systems and through the way that your mind works and perceive the world around you, and through the way that you feel things, and through ideas and stories that you have about yourself and who you are, and all the ways in which you've existed with your identity and the rules of the world around you until now, okay? So if you're triggered by the video, I suggest you watch it until the end. If you just keep being more triggered, I suggest you be polite if you come and tell me after, okay? Because what I'm sharing in this video is an absolute truth. It is divine order and law. It is not a truth that you're like, oh, maybe I'm gonna, it's a new thing in which I believe, and like I can believe this too. It's like, this is what I'm telling you is either you're gonna receive it right now or later. You can't skip it. There's no way around it, okay? The foundation that I'm laying right now is something that you will have to accept and receive, okay? And however it makes you feel, it is okay. When I first received that, it was not of my preference. It was not of the beautiful, fancy, sexy, South American shamanic practices in which I bathed in the past years, in which all my life was before, okay? But then when I really realized what this was, I have no more attachment to whatever things look, okay? My devotion is the result, and God is the boss, and He is the bringer of everything, including results. So let me share with you this foundation, okay? Very important knowledge to have. If you're triggered, it's cool, normal. It is triggering. Everything that I say in this video, with some little exceptions, in which excuse me if I don't use the more adequate way to say it, is gonna be triggering truth, okay? If you like those things, you're gonna dig it. Come and tell me after. So what I'm sharing with you today is the history of humanity, the big lines of the history of humanity in a spiritual manner, okay? At the beginning of creation, there was an original human model, okay? Or at the beginning of the intervention of God in our realm of existence, there was a big, um, not a big, but there was a very precise plan for humanity, which is still playing out. But the original model under which we were created is beyond anything that you can imagine right now as we live it as humans. An understanding, a knowing, a capacity that is more than our brains can understand right now, okay? And very happy to tell you that this is where we're going back, okay? And there is a lot of work. So, when the world in which we live in was created, it was created in dimensions. And each of those dimensions have authority. So in those dimensions, you have a potential of awareness of this dimension, how it functions, and how it affects all dimensions under, and how it's affected by all dimensions over, and the potential of authority in those dimensions, which means you can interact and operate in those dimensions. One simple way to see that would be to see God as a business, and he's the boss. And all the beings in the different dimensions are under his authority, and all the beings under different dimensions are under the authority of the beings in those dimensions. Okay? Chain of command. And what happened at some point is the corruption of some of those beings at different levels of those dimensions. And the corruption that happened was caused out of ignorance of why they're here, and why is it that they are there, and why is it important that they are there doing what they're doing. Also, this does not exclude the fact that it is part of a bigger plan, okay? What I'm going to share with you today is deep, okay? Years of information to share if we want to really get in that story. Lifetimes, okay? But if we calculate it in time, but those beings that got out of the chain of command, so traditionally, because it's not always the case, but the penalty, so the law, the punition or the penalty for getting out of the chain of command is being cut from the source of light. God is a source of infinite organic light, okay? If you are not connected with God, it means that you cannot source light through God, okay? Now, if you're a being that gets disconnected from this light, but you're still in creation, what you have to do to survive is use the light around you in the creation, okay? But you are a being that came from a dimension in which you have a specific authority and you have a specific knowledge and understanding of how things work, you know? And you can use all this information at your advantage to create different ways to source this light, different programs, different systems. And not only that, but this is a chain of command, meaning that if I am a being at the 10th dimension and I get out of the chain of command, all the beings that are under my command have to come with me. So it's when a big, and let's talk about angels, when an angel with big authority, big power gets out of the chain of command, a lot of beings under have to do that. So there's a lot of light to source. You understand? Now, when that happened, those beings were trying to understand, gather more information, create different programs to be efficient to source light around in creation. And the way you can see it is like, if God is here and I'm here, and those beings in their dimension or in their authority, whichever they're at this point, is here, then they're gonna source light everywhere there, because they can't affect anything up here. So you're gonna source light everywhere there. So it's like there's somebody between me and God. And this something and somebody is creating programs and systems and belief systems and generating trauma and separation and cutting me from God in a way that they can keep harnessing my light. Okay? Because they can't harness their own. And that happening in the history of humanity, God at some point is like, all right, everybody down here is like cursed. It's chaos. This is not serving anyone. So I'm wiping it out. Okay. So this is like the story of Noah. It's like, Noah, sir, build me a boat, animals, family, everybody. Okay, I cleanse everything. Once it's done, you start again. But the presence of those fallen angels and all the beings under them and different types of beings with different names that I will share everything I'm telling you in this video. I'll share infinitely more details in different contexts. Okay, so if you have questions, great. So those beings were still in the atmosphere, in the environment. Okay, so you restart creation, but then those beings are still in this different spaces, influencing the people. In these different spaces, influencing the people to commit acts or to behave in a way that is gonna keep them trapped in the systems of those beings. Because God is the only one to curse. God is the only one to bring blessings. Okay? The rest is just authority and power that you have in different dimensions. So what those beings want is they want to keep you in systems that keep you out of the laws of God, so that you curse yourself and that they can use this disadvantage of you at their own benefit. Okay, this is not, what I'm telling you guys is not a joke nor funny. I'm having a lot of fun in telling you the story and giving examples, but this is real. Okay, this is real, and it needs actions and solutions. Okay, and this is why we're here. So they are making people curse themselves, they're creating traumas, they're creating all sorts of things. And one thing that we have to understand about creations is there's laws. And one of those laws is that if you create a blood pact with any being, any person, someone has to pay with blood. If you have a contract with a being, it stays in the lineage for 4 generations. There's different contracts with more generations or whatever, but minimum 4, usually. Then there's different ways in which you have exchanges with those beings and curses and stuff in your relationship with God that affect not only you, but all your lineages. So over time, once again, after the first cleanup, there starts to be chaos and like all sorts of different things. And one important thing that needs to be talked about and revealed right now is a specific group of angels that when they fell, they came from a dimension in which they need to reproduce. Okay, they can reproduce. Angels that are on higher dimensions do not exist in the dimension in which there's reproduction. They do not need. There's one energy. There's not the feminine principle coming with it. Okay, those angels that were in this dimension are looking at the women on the earth like, ooh, women on the earth is fine. Wow. And get out of their place, out of their chain of command, and in reality they rape the women, but then they reproduce through that. And what that creates is a group of humanoid angelic beings that we know better right now as gods or demigods. Okay, and these group, the angels that did that were so like troublemakers that they didn't just got cut from the light, they got sent to a place where no one wants to go. Okay, The children of those were not in the chain of command of God have to source their light. So this is how you get the birth of all different mythologies and pantheons throughout the story of humanity. This is how you get the Greek gods, the Norse gods, the all sorts of gods. And these beings are issued from beings with power and authority and knowledge, which was passed to them. So of course they have higher power. Of course, if you pray to them, if you exchange with them, they're gonna elevate you in power. But you are limited to the authority that they have in those dimensions. You're not dealing with the boss. You're dealing with where they're at. Okay? So this includes yoga, Buddhism. This includes everything else than God. If you do not like the statement, stick with it. Once you're out of the water, you're going to see it for what it is. Okay? It's a promise. Now, over the years, again, it's like there starts to be a cloud between God and the people, a cloud of curses, of blood pacts, of contracts, of interaction with those beings that are in between you and God. And God is like, all right, it is time. So he comes, sends an angel. He's like, okay, Mary, I'm coming. What's coming is my baby. You still need a man, because every children needs the cover of a house with maternal and paternal to grow properly. Okay? To grow in its full capacity of growth. This is physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Okay? If you don't like this statement, I'll tell you more about it another time. It is important, primordial to understand that. And what comes with that. Other discussion. Now, Jesus is born. When he's born, he's a human. The DNA of his mom is corrupted because she exists in the corrupted system. DNA of his dad is pure, but he's still a human. He has to go through ascension process. Okay, he starts young with very deep connection in the spirit, learns from very deep people. He's guided his whole life, protected and guided his whole life. But then he goes through an ascension process until he gets through to fast 40 days and 40 nights. And this is where his soul, body, soul, spirit, this is where his soul is complete, assembled, and give his soul to God and receives the Holy Spirit. Okay? When he does that, he's no longer Jesus of Nazareth. He's Jesus Christ. He is God in a human form. Any religion, belief, spirituality, anything that does not lead you to Jesus Christ is God, is issued from those fallen beings. If you do not like what I'm sharing, what I just said, take it up with yourself or anybody else. This is truth, okay? Any belief system that is not leading you to Jesus Christ is God, is keeping you trapped in some form of using your energy. Take some time with that. Now, when he receives Christ, he also receives the plan. And anybody, same thing, and people in the Catholic religion, like all religions are infiltrated. Not because even like people who know for a fact that God, Jesus Christ is God, doesn't mean they have not been infiltrated. No. Anybody who thinks of the crucifixion of like, oh, they don't know what they did, what a terrible thing, they've done everything. Yes, they didn't know what they were doing. Terrible thing? Nah. Most amazing thing that's ever happened to humanity. Because the plan the whole time was crucifixion. And the reason for that is because, like I told you, blood pacts have to be paid. Curses, contracts, everything as a law in the creation, okay? So God, Jesus, receives Christ. He teaches to a group of people mysteries and functions and does impartation and shares knowledge and power and spirit and anointment with these people. And when time is time, crucifixion. What happens when he's on the cross and the process going there is he's pulling, and this is called a multi-dimensional timeline collapse. Okay, and doing this at this level is silly to even try to understand. If anybody has received energy sessions, if you work in the spirit and you do timeline collapses, this is the timeline collapse of all contracts, blood pacts, curses, anything that is keeping anybody from God in all past, all present, all future. The how big this is impossible to understand with our actual human minds. This is huge. Okay. He pulls all that in, and when he gets pierced with a weapon, which I don't remember the name right now, and his blood touches the ground, the moment his blood touches the ground, everything is paid. All past, present, future. The work is done. Anybody in New Age spirituality that are about ascension and about soul work and all those things, the work is done. The work is done. But then doing that, Christ becomes the key for you to go back to where you were originally designed to be. Okay? And what that implies is going through the same process he went through. We are doing foundational work, doing soul work, then taking our soul, giving our soul to God, receiving the Holy Spirit, and then from there, only from there, can we start really understanding things spiritually. Because everything that was before that is under the covering of those fallen beings and in the systems of those fallen beings. This is absolute truth. However it sounds, however you like it right now. The spiritual work in starting to get into real power of spirit before this process of giving your soul, receiving the Holy Spirit, is this big compared to what it is really, okay, in reality. So this has been done, but then why is it that not everything is solved, and why is it that the past 2,000 years have been chaotic and that it's still a shit show, let's say like that, around the earth right now? Well, if I give you a session, if anybody gives you an energy session, it's gonna take a little less, little more, maybe depending on what is being worked, a lot more than 21 days to integrate. Now, if Jesus Christ is doing that on the cross for the whole of humanity, how much time do you think it's gonna take to integrate? I would say about 2020 something years. So there we are. You are gonna realize right now, if you start looking for it, and in the next years, that a lot of people are being delivered and suddenly their life changed in the name, by the presence of Jesus Christ. Okay? Again, what I'm sharing with you today is not, oh, this is what he believes and like you agree with it or not and all those things. This is something that you either get on board with right now or later. Or you're not gonna like the next years. Okay? Because, why is that? Why am I saying this? This is not nice. I want to wish for everybody to have an amazing next group of years. But what's happening right now is all those beings that are in between you and God, there's a group of people right now on the planet that are hunting, destroying, and destroying those beings and all the structures and all the programs that they've created. Okay? And by destroying, I mean bringing those beings in the proper place and clearing. It's a cleanup. Pardon, so sorry for my violence. It's a cleanup of this space so that original human design, true potential of what we've been created, can exist. Okay, this is where we're going back, like I told you. So these beings are being taken down, their structures are being taken down. If you're still in those structures, everybody who's doing this work properly is going to take you out of those structures. But the moment where those structures start crumbling down, your life is going to be shaken. Because if you're still in there, then the whole function of that is taken down. So you are going to have to change, whether now or later. Whether in voluntarily receiving what is happening or following what is happening, let's say. Okay? And if you think it's better to wait because you're at a good place and everything, there's going to be change. It's a fact. Okay? The only way to go way beyond what you think is the best scenario for everybody on this planet is through Christ. Okay? However that sounds like to you, take some time with it. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this right now is first because I want you to understand how I pray and how I work and how all those things. I've been delivered in this process by Christ. I've been receiving authority and orders and different instructions of things to do in the world. And part of those is specifically oriented towards people that are in New Age spirituality, specifically into plant medicine, yoga, and New Age ascension. Okay? Now, everybody needs what is coming true. Which means that, like, if you do not fall into those categories, what I have to share with you still works. And it's amazing, okay? And the way I pray for you, if I've prayed for you in this project, if I've prayed for you before, I want these prayers to be sustainable and be increased. I see in the spirit a timeline of you going with Christ and what's happening with your life. If I prophesy that over your life, but you do not go towards there, it's like I'm giving you a direct line. If you do not receive this direct line, this is how it's going to go. What you want to do is the direct line, okay? I don't have time to waste. You don't have time to waste. I hate seeing people suffer. I hate seeing people trapped, seeing people stuck, confused, not knowing, comforting themselves into their own pain and misery. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. My heart is this big. I feel everything. I see what is happening to people around wherever I go. I hate it. I want to take it down. This is my intention. I want everybody to be the straight line towards exactly where they need to be. For all things in their life and all things in the life of their families to be increased and elevated. That they exist in truth, in health, in power, and that they fully receive the potential of where they're at, why they are here on this earth. This is my intention, okay? So however it triggers you, what I'm telling you in the video, take some time with it. It's going to be now or later. This is a promise. There's no way around it, however you receive it. Now, where we're at right now, personally, me and Amy Amatraye, my wife, we've been ordered to create structures to take people on the process of going there, okay? It's a multidimensional process in the sense that, like, it's a process of rapture, of cleansing of the soul to give it to receive the Holy Spirit, but it's also a process of embodying Christ. It's not embodying, it's literally embodying Christ. And for that, it's a deep process of upgrading. It's like you have this computer, the program I'm trying to put in your computer right now is going to make this computer explode. We need to upgrade the systems. Poco a poco. You receive upgrade, you receive upgrade, you receive upgrade, you receive upgrade. When you're ready to receive the full thing, if I tried to give someone everything that I can give them right now, 5% of that would stick. The rest would just create confusion, cognitive dissonance, all sorts of things. Not good. Not the way to do that. We've seen that. Not the way to do that. So there's two ways in which we're going to do this process. There's with the online school and private sessions. 2.5 ways. Online school, which is going to give people the opportunity to come on retreats, which we're going to do like condensed work, or online sessions, which is also probably going to give people the opportunity to come on retreats. Didn't think about that. But you need preparation before doing this work. Like I told you, if we go all out right now, not going to work. Okay? So the difference is on the online school, the way we're going to work is we're going to create groups. It's going to be more affordable. And it's going to be like 3-month semesters to bring everybody to this layer of this level of like foundation. Then another semester to this level. Then another semester to this level. Okay? And this is going to ensure that everybody is on the same level, because it is impossible to do this work like that. It's not just like, oh, so now I know the truth, now I agree with that and all those things. Is no. Everything in there, so if we change that in the quantum realms, everything in there has to trickle in your life, which means that all untruth has to be pushed away. Any impact of those beings in your life has to be pushed away. Any impact of trauma in your life, any impact of disconnection, of false belief system has to be pushed away in your life. It's a big process. There's no way around it. It's nice to have like free will and like choose all those things, but this process, there's no way around it. The other way around it is just, if you're not at this time influenced in a system in which has problems, in which has tons of pain and suffering and all those things, then this is what is left except what I'm telling you. Now, some people could say, oh, but there's different types of spirituality, and I've done this and I've done that, and it's changed my life and all those things. What you've done so far compared to what is coming at you with what I'm telling you is this big. The way I know that is because I've done it. I've had more change in the last 9 months than in the last 5 years, 7 years, 20. I'm 31 in the last rest of my life. This is not a joke. This is supremely important. So, the other way to do that, except through the school, is by online sessions. We have received the order to give about 4 online sessions with some time to integrate between it. So the whole process is going to take about 4 months, maybe more if people need more time. Some changes are big in our lives. Big. All for good, does not always feel good. When all those things are getting out of our body, we're processing them as if it's happening right now. It's a weird process. It's what we need. It's what we want. Okay? So this is where we're at in the whole process. Now, sessions are going to start in January, and the school is going to start late February. Okay? And until then, for those who, because a lot of people has already come to us out of nowhere, not knowing exactly why they come to us, to receive that. And we want to have those people feeding and growing and like working in the direction in which they need to grow to get out of the situations in which they are. So there's ministries right now. Like there's 4 ministries that I know and that I would send you to any day for you to receive what I'm talking about. We are the 4th one. Okay? So if you want to start learning and doing this work before January, send me a private message. I'm going to connect you with all those ministries. These are amazing people. Our spiritual mother and father, the people who has been covering us in the process of us being delivered, receiving revelation, prophecy, all sorts of things, okay? And in January, we are starting to do this work, okay? If you have questions, you're welcome to send me questions. If there's too many questions, I'm going to organize Zoom meetings to answer those questions. And I will receive questions that are polite and curious. Because it's okay for you to be disagreeing with anything. It's cool. It's cool. But if you lack of respect, or if you project your stuff at me, or if the beings through you are trying to get at me because they know that with what I'm telling you, they're out, I'm not taking bullshit. Okay? Just so we're clear. It's a pleasure to share this, but it's a deep process to receive this level of truth, and there's not tons of spaces to like adapt it and like, nah, it's not like that. Okay? So, welcome to Reach Me Out. I thank you for your patience in receiving all that. There's years, like this is for many, this is the beginning of everything that you've ever dreamed and beyond. Meaning your capacity to understand what is the best for you is this big compared to what is really possible for you. Okay? And so we are here, and so it is. So I hope you're having a great day, and thank you, and I hope to see you soon. Ciao.